Hello and welcome back, YouTube. It's Monday, May 15th, 2023, 10:04 p.m. And it's kind of hard for anyone to tell, especially since I don't shoot video of this very often. But the mess on my couch has changed. Most notably, there's a big old pink bag right here. And there's some papers and some women's undergarments that don't belong to me. Just for the record, I have not been cross-dressing. I have been drinking Bud Light though, so don't judge. It's not my fault. Not everybody else has Miller Lite on tap, and God knows I can't afford good beer. Yeah, there's this nastiness sitting down here. It's brisk iced tea that's got some kind of liquid in it and some floating cigarette butts. As I've said many times, I'm not a smoker. Smokers disgust me, so that's not my mess. So what's up with all that? Sambo, move, get out of the way of the door, move. Plop. And y'all probably couldn't see that very well. That's kind of his signature move. He's done that since he was a kitten. It's the weirdest thing. He'll just sort of plop. And of course, when he does that, what that means is he wants to get a little bit of scratching and loving and stuff. Yeah. I gotta go for a walk, Sambo. I'll be back soon. All right. This is going to be either a really interesting video or a really boring video. Ran to the store. I'll be right back. I'm feeling a little guilty about something that happened today. Actually, I'm feeling a lot guilty and worried about something that happened today. And I'm heading out on foot in an attempt to make it right. I'll be honest, I don't have really high hopes that this mission is going to be successful. Oh yeah, I should be at work. I haven't been to work since, it's been almost a full week. I did work last Monday. It is Monday night right now. I did work last Monday night. I've begun to tell the story about what happened. I've never really got there other than saying that it was a really bad night at work that ended in a really bad way. I don't even feel like talking about that right now. I was ready to punch my manager in the mouth. I didn't do that, so feeling good, showed some restraint. At one point at that same time, I also had urges to, I held it. I had it behind my shoulder. I was in the pose ready to throw it, and then realized that throwing the Amazon Kindle that I use for doing TDR directly at the skull of my manager, not my PA, but my AM, was probably a bad thing to do. And I'd have felt bad if I damaged it. I'm already a little not happy about the coworker of mine that damaged that tablet. That particular tablet's got a busted up screen. It works okay. It's kind of hard to read it because of the busted up screen. Although unlike the busted up screen of my iPhone, it senses touch just fine, so it's usable. But yeah, he from what I told, I didn't see him do this. But I was told by two of my other coworkers who do. One of them who doesn't do PG, or doesn't do TDR, although inexplicably is a PG. Never underestimate the power of ass kissing. And to be fair, I have nothing against Jeffrey, but like how Jeffrey got offered that and I didn't, is a little bit of a source of contention. And it's not contention against, I don't know. It is what it is. And maybe, the people who chose him over me probably just figured that I wouldn't deal well with the stress and were just looking out for me. It's possible. I don't know. Anyway, Jeffrey told me, and then one of the other drivers told me that Joe was, which I've mentioned him before. He's the young kid who's kind of recently out of prison, who's pit driver that I used to claim was a pretty hard worker. He's kind of, he's definitely lost that drive. I mean, I believe he's still trying pretty hard to keep himself out of, getting back into the activities that previously landed him in prison and wanting to take care of himself. But his work ethic is kind of tanked. And sometimes he just does some really stupid shit. Says the guy who hasn't gone to work in nearly a week. Anyway, he busted this tablet by apparently just while he was working on opening or closing a door or waiting. I don't know. I wasn't there. The way it was explained to me, probably the most likely thing is he was probably working on opening or closing a door, and there was an issue with it that required him to wait for a manager or wait for safety to do something. And I've talked about that with TDR. Sometimes it's something you got to do if like the freight in the back of the truck is obstructing the back of the truck so much that you cannot place the ramp down. You need to either get safety or you need to get a manager. If the hook that latches the trailer to the building won't engage, step one is to get a hold of a manager. Actually, I think you can get by with a PA on that one. Have them contact Tom Team to adjust the truck and see if that fixes the problem. If that doesn't, then you need to have an area manager as a key to do what's called a dock lock override and turn off the little annoying alarm that it causes, and then you've got a whole procedure you got to follow after that. I've talked about doing TDR to somebody who doesn't do it. It's pretty boring. It's honestly one of the things I most enjoy doing at Amazon, but yeah, it's a painfully boring sort of thing. And people who don't I think anybody wants to hear me drone on about TDR again. God knows the last video I did that. I don't think anybody made it to when the second half of the video where I dramatically changed the subject. Pretty sketchy how that Okay, that was interesting. I was about to make a judgment on that vehicle that was parked on the right. And I don't know if y'all could overhear the woman who just walked past me and was apparently homeless. And what she said, but I would just want to come out that I was judging that vehicle wrong. My gut feeling, being that it's after 10 o'clock at night, was that the vehicle was pulling over and was a person who is not homeless trying to score some fentanyl. I always talk about all the homeless people doing fentanyl. Yeah, the homeless people aren't the only ones doing fentanyl. And it does frustrate me when I see videos or they're documenting the homeless epidemic all over the United States, particularly in Phoenix, where people in the comment section are talking about, oh yeah, those people won't go to shelters because those shelters have rules. Yeah. Oh yeah, they won't let them do drugs there. They won't let them drink there. They won't, they have a curfew there. You know what? Are we going to pretend like everybody who's not homeless doesn't do these things in their homes? And not that I'm advocating for homeless people to be able to do drugs in homeless shelters, but to just say that they should be denied shelter because they're not willing to do something that people who have homes regularly do and are allowed to do. And he goes, one of Phoenix's finest. I could tell he was tapping on his laptop computer as he was driving. I saw that out of my eye, out of my side vision, peripheral vision. I wonder where he's headed. I wonder if we'll get some good cop footage today. I wonder if it's one of the cops that put me in cuffs. I doubt it. It seems like police don't really have a neighborhood beat anymore. They just kind of drift around these days. Part of me really wants to go into QT and get something to drink. I'm pretty thirsty. All right, we got this guy driving with no headlights on. Oh, apparently he's driving to the police. Yeah, I think the police are just going to give him a ticket for no headlights? Probably not. Although, to be fair, I don't think you have a legal obligation to turn on headlights when driving through private property. And at this point in time, he's still in private property. Although that's a pretty unsafe habit. Okay, you're on the street now. You should turn on your headlights. No, you should really turn on your headlights. Come on, man, turn on your headlights. I wonder if those are brake lights or they turned on their headlights. Oh, no. No, those are just turn signals and brake lights. They are now headed northbound on 44th Street with no headlights. Good to know that there's no cop doing anything about that because he's doing something at QT. I don't know. I'm over the police there. I think I'm definitely getting better quality night video off of this camera. And as I might have mentioned earlier, I'm using Obamaphone 3. The screen is fucking hammered. And if I did get cell service on it, it would really be struggling to receive the cell service because the antenna is damaged. However, the camera works surprisingly well and notably better than Obamaphone 4. All right, there's a Waymo. Since my last video, I have taken Waymo twice, by the way. That was an adventure. It really makes me happy to see those. I really think that's the future of transportation. And maybe instead of trying to get my job back at Amazon, I should be pursuing a job with Waymo because I'd probably enjoy that more. Or maybe I should be pursuing a job with Elite Taxi Cab because I seriously miss being a cab driver. But I don't know where I'm at with my driving record if I'm able to do that again. I mean, I'm pretty sure the answer is going to be no at VIP Taxi because of having totaled their Prius a couple years ago. It's been about 2 years since I totaled the Prius. A little less than 2 years. Actually, you know what? No, it's been pretty much exactly 2 years. And the reason I know this, and I've said many, many times, I am not a sports fan, but I am a person who's lived in Phoenix over 50 years. And God damn it, will the Suns ever take the NBA championship? Will that ever happen? God, we've come so close so many times. Once again, and I didn't follow the playoffs this year. I just didn't. And when people ask me about that, I'm like, well, I'm not much of a sports fan, and yeah, I've just been let down too many times. I just can't even get excited about it this year, and I didn't. And as I pessimistically predicted, the Suns just lost and fell out of the playoffs. I believe their last game was Thursday. Seems like somebody mentioned that to me at the bar when I went to wander in on Thursday. Anyway, and the reason I'm mentioning that, like, why are you suddenly talking about basketball? Because admittedly, I was a distracted driver when I totaled the Prius that ended up in me no longer being a cab driver after 4 very successful days of being very successful, and might I add, exceptionally happy days of being a cab driver again. And that was exactly 2 years ago. And what I was distracted by was was listening to a Suns playoff game, which I think they lost, which I think took them out of the. I can't remember if it took them out of the playoffs or not. I really, 2 years ago, I was very much paying attention to the Suns in the playoffs. I thought they were going to do it. God, I thought they were going to do it. God, and I remember there was one game that I watched that it just really felt like the referees were not calling the shots fair. And I'm not just saying that as somebody that wants to see the Suns win. I mean, just a lot of people objectively said that, yeah, it's kind of that, that didn't seem like a fair call. That didn't seem like a fair call. And the didn't seem like a fair call seemed to overwhelmingly go against the Suns. Anyway, so just a matter of perspective, I do remember that when I totaled the Prius that I was driving for VIP Taxi, I was listening to a Suns playoff game. And it was either in that game or right after that game that they lost after they were so close to winning the championship. And that just happened again last week. So doing the math, that makes exactly 2 years since I totaled the Prius. So, I still don't know if I'd be able to drive for Elite Taxi Cab. Speaking of Elite Taxi Cab, so one of the nights that the Brazilian woman drove me home from work, which she never drove me home, by the way. She always let me off at the shopping center where Thomas crosses the 51 freeway, formerly known as the Squaw Peak Parkway. Am I allowed to say those words in succession like that? Oh man, this video is going to get shadow banned because I said the name of a Phoenix freeway, the original name of a Phoenix freeway. It's the freeway that goes by Squaw Peak, but you're not allowed to say that either. I smell drugs, although to be fair, it smells like weed, and I'm cool with that. It's a refreshing change from the usual scent of clouds of fentanyl that I usually walk through around here. Although to be fair, the clouds of weed, the strange clouds are probably coming out of these houses right here, as opposed to being left behind by people smoking foil. I do wonder how many people do blues that aren't homeless. There doesn't really seem to be any kind of statistics about any of that. In fact, it amazes me how often in videos where they're interviewing homeless people where some person is like, what are blues? Yeah, for those who don't know, it's fentanyl in pill form. That's how it's most commonly distributed in the Phoenix area. Apparently in other places as well, but very much in Phoenix. So almost 19 minutes into this video, and I haven't, I was going to say, so when the Brazilian woman, whose name I absolutely cannot remember, she always let me off at the shopping center that's on the northeast corner of 20th Street, which is functionally the frontage road for the freeway formerly known as the Squaw Peak Parkway, and Thomas Road. And I'm trying to remember what stores are in that shopping center. There's a DD's Discounts there. I think there's a Dollar Tree there. There used to be a major grocery store there, and I don't remember what it is, but they pulled out a long time ago. Anyway, she always dropped me off there. I know she lives somewhere near like 16th Street and 16th Street and Glendale. So she just continued on. I didn't want to burden her. I appreciated the ride, and it's like, hey, I don't need you to take me home. I don't need you to go out of your way, but I really appreciate you hopping off the freeway and dropping me off and then getting back on the freeway on the way home. That saves me a lot of time and hassle. And then from there, I'd catch the Route 29 Thomas bus. All right, somebody on a... Oh no, he's not on a line. Looks like he was on like a something comparable to like a Xiaomi, like the one I still have that's got a flat tire and a mildly retarded motor controller that absolutely won't let me turn on the headlight. It's kind of nice to see people riding personal scooters. I'm kind of disappointed that after all these years, electric scooters haven't been more widely adopted as a transportation method. But people love their cars and don't realize other people are trying to get by without them. And in a world that is almost exclusively made for people that are in them and use that as their exclusive form of transportation. Progress on my car, that's what I should talk about. Oh, so anyway, yeah, so I'm waiting for the bus for the 29. Brazilian woman just let me off, and I saw one of those orange taxis, and now I forget the name of the company, Empire Taxi, something like that, drive by, and I noticed their website on it, so I went to their website immediately while it was fresh in my mind, because God knows once things are out of my mind, my mind is not so functional. Oh, here comes the 44 North. Fortunately, I'm not waiting for the 44 North, but hey, good to see it's running, and good to see that I could actually sit there and wait for it without having to deal with homeless people and trash. Correction, not deal with homeless people. There's still plenty of trash. Phoenix never used to have such an abundance of litter like it does now, and it makes me sad. I always find it interesting how the bus shelter is clear the hell down there, but the bus actually stops here. I don't understand why they haven't done a eminent domain action on the strip mall to eliminate that one parking spot, or maybe these two parking spots that nobody ever uses anyway, and move the bus shelter right here. Why? The city of Phoenix could do that. Why don't they? Oh, because that's an amenity for pedestrians, and Phoenix doesn't give a fuck about pedestrians. I feel like I missed the cycle. Oh, I definitely missed the cycle for the southbound walk signal. At some point, I should start explaining what I'm doing and what I'm looking for, and what it was up with that pink bag on my couch and woman's undergarments on my couch. Hey, look, another Waymo. Oh, that's interesting. This Waymo is trying to turn right from a second, because there's two right turn lanes. So it's trying to turn right from a second turn lane. It did turn into the correct lane. It probably pissed off that driver, but the Waymo did have the right of way for that maneuver. So that driver had the option of changing lanes and going around, but since that driver was just going into the chevron there, probably was a smart move on his part to just wait it out. I want to talk about my last two Waymo rides. They were pretty awesome. They definitely had their share of weirdness in them. I would have shot video on them, as I've done most of my previous Waymo rides. However, I actually had a companion with me on those rides, which is who I'm looking for. It's who left the negligee. Did I get any? No, and I'm thankful for that. That's another story. Wait. So yeah, looked up the website for. Oh, now I forget. Was it Empire Taxi? Whatever that orange taxi was, it was by the Waymo over there at 44th and Oak. Oh, this is what I'm doing right now, what I was explaining I did when I did that short of the asshole blocking the crosswalk in the Corvette, where I started walking before the walk signal came on, but I've memorized these light signals, and see how quickly it went to saying don't walk? So I found it very beneficial to start walking before the walk signal comes on. That way, when I get to the median where there's actually cross traffic, I get the walk signal. That way, I'm not frantically trying to get across God, how many lanes of Strode is McDowell Road right here? Let's see, we got 3 lanes. 3 lanes eastbound and westbound. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 9 lanes. 9 lanes of Strode. I just had to cross as a pedestrian. As you can see, 44th Street is pretty wide as well. I like the term that City Nerd came up for intersections like this, where he called them strode on strode violence. There's car pedestrian in accidents at this intersection all the time. Now granted, some of them are caused by random homeless people staggering into the end of the street like this in front of traffic. I was riding with my friend in his Camaro. What were we riding in? A bitchin' Camaro. Yeah, and somebody did that just north of McDowell. So it's not all the motorists to blame, but the fact that these type of intersections exist is really problematic, and a lot of YouTube channels that present that information to you a lot better than I can or will. But City Nerd is definitely one of the better ones, and I love the video he did about strode on strode violence. Seeing that a lot more in front of nice hotels. Y'all see that? That's kind of an older beater. The trunk is up, the hood is up. Somebody's under the hood trying to fix that vehicle. That's not the vehicle you used to see in front of a Holiday Inn. Just isn't. But hey, welcome to the new normal. So yeah, I think it was Empire Taxi. Went to their website. Their website is one of the most tragic things I've ever seen online. I'll try to put a link to it in this video description. Please check my video descriptions. I try to put information there at the bare minimum when and where the video is shot, as well as the time and date to correct any misinformation in my spoken time and date, and also what device it was shot on, if I know. Obamaphone 3, by the way, for those curious. So Obamaphone 4, which shoots absolutely pathetic video in dark after dark. Still in my pocket. Of course, I'm at 27:37. I think I'll be able to get to 35 minutes on this phone, and then I will be out of space. So. But hey, it's something. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. It's a pretty decent song by U2. I don't dare sing it, or this entire video will be probably flagged for copyright, but hey, not as likely as if I was just singing an Eagles song. I'm glad a lot of YouTubers are speaking out about that injustice. How was that for a weird tangent? You like that? Yeah. I mentioned it on my channel a few times. It's been quite a while about how it just, it's like, oh, that's an Eagles song on the radio. I better turn that shit down quick, or I'll be blocked. It's making me like that old Mojo Nixon song, Don Henley Must Die. I feel like he needs to redo that song and update it, and instead of just making it about what a mediocre rock band, what a mediocre country band the Eagles were masquerading as a rock band, and instead update it to what a tragedy it is that what Don Henley is doing to YouTube and other social media platforms. Anytime there's just the tiniest snippet used in a way that legally constitutes fair use on video. Rick Beato's tackled this subject quite a bit lately. If you've never seen Rick Beato's channel, I highly recommend that as well. Love his channel. My taste in YouTube is all over the place, just saying. And none of these people will claim me or promote me, but hey, I'll shout them out. So, yeah, I think I've mentioned enough about it. There's not much to say about Empire Taxi's website. There is places to click to apply to be a driver. None of those links work or go anywhere, so I have no idea how to apply to be a driver there. or what the requirements are to be a driver there. They have an interface for requesting a cab online. It doesn't look like something I would feel comfortable using. That looks like somebody hit that sign. Somehow I don't think that's how the city of Phoenix meant to mount that. That doesn't look right to me at all. Although we're living in the idiocracy era, so who knows. So I still haven't found what I'm looking for. I suppose I should probably say what I'm looking for. I'll just go right out and say it. I'm looking for an old hooker who's way past her sell-by date. I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm the kind of guy to call a spade a spade. Just saying. I met her on Saturday night. She was trying to. She was looking for a date, in that sort of context. In the wrong place. The wrong place. Maybe I should have tried to give her a ride to around 27th Avenue and Montebello, but I don't think anybody would be interested in what she was selling. I'll be honest, I was lonely and depressed and horny enough. I was contemplating what she was selling. I wasn't contemplating paying for it, though. Anyway, we've spent most of the time since about 1 a.m., 1:30 a.m. Saturday night, Friday morning together. Today is the first time that we've separated. She's definitely got some mental health issues. I'm not saying that to be mean. I mean, I have some mental health issues. I feel we have some similar mental health issues. But I swear to God, my goal was not to ditch her today. It really wasn't. My goal was actually to help her today. I feel like her and I were starting to form sort of a relationship where we were helping each other. She fed me last night, and that was a really big deal because I've been so depressed I haven't been feeding myself. So, I've mentioned in the past that I had government subsidized housing for a long time. That's how I got the apartment that I currently have. That's not how I have it now. I've been paying market rate rent for it'll be 3 years. It will be 3 years at the end of this month. So I guess you could say I'm a Home Inc. success story. Although if I actually tell the story, you'd realize that I'm actually sort of a Home Inc. tragedy that fell through the cracks, that against all odds has managed to pay his rent for 3 years. I'm at 33 minutes. This is going to cut off at any moment. I'll be coming back on Obamaphone 4, and mostly you're just going to see dim lights in the distance. You won't be able to see much of anything I'm talking about, and I'm sorry. I need better devices to record with. If you'd like to make a donation to this channel, it's not a cash donation. Hit me up in the comments, and I would love it if somebody would just mail me an old cell phone without service that shoots reasonably okay video. Because I really need something that does that right now, and I don't have one, and that's the least of my worries right now, is trying to purchase